No, I think because
So then for the
so this is kind of
We need to just needs to be the line. And that
always
bigger like this.
with the rules that
Those accessories. So B,
that means that you need to have one.
Yeah,
D goes to
so
E.
it's going to be
Or like
B and C, but
From,
so that's why I think we don't need to have one.
No, it's by the arrow, but there's multiple arrows. You can't travel. So you need C and. No, that's a neutral. I mean, look at. You mentioned how we could agree to the 48 section. You need this, you need the model, to show that, like, there doesn't say you can put multiple ones.
Oh, we know, but that, and now.
We can't have. Oh, with the page. Yeah.
Oh, it's very good.
Okay, we have a newcomer. All right, now we are working on critical path methods. For students who just joined us. We have 7 cases to work on. Please find a team of 2. Let me know if you need help getting a teammate. Otherwise, we have 7 cases and 14 diagrams to create. And by 12, we are going to start looking at these cases together.
I'm checking. So then this part of that leads A, B, C, and then so B leads to B. Yeah, C leads to B. Okay. And then it leads to B. Somehow this implies that would this not, because let me actually do this one. Because D needs to be put in. It's after, okay, no.
Oh, I did it wrong.
Yeah, man.
We can also look at the
Like that, and
I don't know. My high school didn't have.
Now, like, you want us to fill in.
yeah.
C cannot begin into both A and B. So E cannot begin into B.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, with my last year, I'm not very light comparison. You know, like, definitely during my last.
So far.
Ballistic in my last. Pretty light, so I have. Look at my. Yeah, my class. It just makes me think like. All quarter like 150, 171, and then 170. It was a lot, I can only imagine how rough it is. People were like 4 to 5 hours. Yes, people put 15. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, there's one thing I wish I could have done during the, when the, I wish I could have taken more.
Hmm.
The note.
Oh, funny, I forgot. Okay.
That way you can just skip over the pay. So,
There's a pandemic. Oh, I know.
But then that.
Yeah. I think I started off with no, I didn't.
There needs to be
But it's not too far away. In what's missing is this part. So what's complex is that D connects to E and also F, right? After that, we also need a finishing
Also,
line.
these two connect back to the finish.
Yeah, so see here that we have D goes to F and D goes to E and C goes to E. You're correct in the first part. Now we just need a
Okay.
finishing
Thank
node. All right.
is required, H needs.
So how's Lauren doing? Some hints that in some cases you may need a finishing node. That's not an activity. That's not that does not have an ID, but you need to name the node as finishing point.
Since Steven is that one is still the dash time.
It does, and in this case, we also need a finishing node. Although if it's not labeled as any of the activity.
Oh, I thought he was, oh, it does.
So we need to create a circle, name it finish, and the point C and D go to this.
How do we know if the other one's needed?
Question, so in this case, we have two ending nodes that are not connected. That's why we need an ending node. But in this case, it's already finished. Ending in one activity,
Yeah,
so we
this
don't
one
need
ends at
another finish.
Two, right?
Or otherwise, we create another fake one that it doesn't really mean anything.
Oh, okay. That makes sense, thank you.
Yeah, because it's like, oh,
Very well. Not this time because we are going to do is pretty much as it's. But you're on the
Just like confused on some of these, like, or like we weren't sure when.
Any, it's necessary when we cannot relate the scope of these. In this case, this one is. So we cannot match the same care by some.
Hope you're about to get to the finishing point. But at this moment, we're going to have an answer review party. So now what we need to do is that we are going to switch your worksheet between your neighbor teams. Then we are going to grade each other and learn from what we have done correct and what are some mistakes we have made.
So there's like if you have done that, you know, send it all out. You have straight lines and so many need to be done.
No, well, this does need a dummy line, but not in this way. The activity can be only on 1 arrow. So it does not have 3 arrows. Shared.
What about the C?
Yes, that can be done, but we cannot have both apples and both arrows. Let's see what are they.
So for example, like the big braces make this.
Yes, you can do that.
But for case 7,
But in this case, it doesn't seem it's necessary. If F is pretty simple B, then that's the point of the same.
so you should go from that point to D.
No, I mean, F is the successor of E, right? So E happens before it. This needs to point this way, but I'm not exactly sure whether this is correct. I need to look to the table.
Let's say that D and E are predecessors of D and E are successors of that. I mean, F succeeds D and F.
Yeah, if that's the case, then
It has to go.
yeah.
All right. Now, let's start working on them together. Please switch your worksheet with a neighbor team. And your neighbor team should also, be aware, just so that your neighbor teams are not holding on their own submission, so we can grade each other. Sometimes I'm also very creative in terms of drawing diagrams. Some are correct. One diagram, according to the table, can be drawn in different ways, but not all are correct. There can be multiple correct ways, though. So let's start with case 1. So do you all have a neighbor teams worksheet with you? Are any teams needing help with finding another team's worksheet to grade? Okay, you're all good with that, right? Okay. Now let's see how your neighbor team and if you can recall what you have done did correctly. So I will write AOA on the left side and AON on the right side. if we need to place activity on the arrow, that means all the nodes are the checkpoint. And in case one, we have A as the starting activity, right? So it's simple. We just put A at the starting arrow. And after that, we must place another node on the other side. So one arrow needs to connect two nodes. And two nodes at the same time cannot be connected by multiple arrows. That means if I have another, for example, B, this would be incorrect because one pair of nodes, if connected by a link, that's direct link, there needs to be only one. Then after that, we see that B and C share A as predecessor. In this case, since we see that the role of B and C are exactly the same except for the activity node. B and C share the same predecessor as A and the same successor as D. That's why we can tell at this point that we should have some measure structure so that we have a symmetrical structure here and B and C on the activity arrows. After that, we see that D is a successor of B and C. That means we can definitely connect that with B, but how do we do that with C? This is done by that C needs to be a predecessor of D, right? In this case, we would have to need a dummy arrow because that's how the C needs to happen before D. And see that at this node, both B and C activities have already taken place. That's what makes B and C successor. In this way, we cannot do it by, for example, connecting this arrow to D to this node, because at this node, D already takes place. So that's why this C needs to point to a node before where D starts. Are you all clear with how this AOA is done? All right. AON in this case is somewhat simpler because if we start with activity A and which is predecessor of both B and C, right? So we have this mirror or symmetrical structure again. And at this point, since B and C are both predecessor of D, so we can connect them both. What's different between these two is that this AOA needs a dummy or dash arrow because we cannot connect this. We cannot connect these two nodes by both B and C because one pair of nodes needs only one direct link. And in case two, we have something similar, but what's different is it appears that we do not have an apparent ending activity. So we have both ABC, but we do not have D. See that case 1 and 2 only differ by the last row, essentially missing activity D. So what this indicates is that before it, many of the things are similar. We still have A goes to both B and C. Now we need to find out what to do with the next part. At this point, we have both nodes after B and C, but we need one and only one starting point and one and only one finishing point. So in this case, we do need to create a fake finishing point in the way that we draw another. Well, in this case, we should identify each of these nodes as the finishing point. So if I identify this one as the finishing point, then I would point the bottom node to the upper node. In the other case, you could also possibly draw the other way, identifying the node below as the finishing point. So if I identify this one as the finishing point, then we just draw an arrow this way. So in this case, we do need a dashed line because there's no activity happening here. We do not have another activity. So that's why we need a dashed arrow. All right, how do we do that in AON? This appears to be also something similar, except that we need to create a dummy point, calling it as, for example, finishing point. That's what makes it ending at one node, because we do need an ending node. And in this case, we cannot point B to C or C to B because they are not predecessor to any to the other. What to do with case 3? In case 3, we expand our horizon to 5 activities. And in this case, let's work on AON first. We start from, again, activity A, right? And after that, we have B and C as the successor of A. And we do that in a very similar way. So if we have B and C as the successor of A, that's what it means. But in this case, B and C are not totally the same. We have B as the B with a successor of D, and C has a successor of E. So what's afterward is different. After that, we need to find out what to do with activity D. Activity D has a B as predecessor, so it needs to be after this. And what it needs to point to is that we also have E as the successor of D, right? So E needs to be somewhere after it. But let's also look at E. E has CD as the predecessor. So how do we connect both C and D to become a predecessor of E? We can do this by pointing D to this node, and also after that, if we place E on the arrow, then this what makes both C and D to be predecessor of E. Any question in this part? Do you observe other possibly correct ways? So what we need to notice is that E needs to happen before both C and D. That's why this one needs to point to this case, this node, I mean. All right, now what to now let's work on the AON way. Similarly, we start with ABC. Since A is the predecessor of both B and C, what happens afterward is, any question there?
Yeah, so in that one, we're trying to minimize the number of dummy arrows, right?
Yeah, this one doesn't have any dummy arrows though.
In our solution and in their solution, that D moved to a new node, and then that node moved another arrow to C.
I see. It's not necessary. It may not be totally incorrect though. In this case, we don't need a dummy node or dummy arrow. All right. Starting from this, we will also have a D as the successor of B, right? And both C and D goes to E. that's what makes E as the predecessor of both. Oh, E as the successor of both C and D. And case 4. In this case, it's also somewhat similar to case 3, except that it does not appear to have an straightforward ending case. So let's see what it should look like. If we start from A and also points to both B and C. So we have very similar starting structure. However, afterward, we need to make D as the successor of B, right? But it's not directly connected to activity C. So after that, we need to find a solution. According to the table, this is what appears to be the ending case. So what it needs to do is, for example, we need to do this way, identify this as the finishing point. Or you can also, let's see. Well, so we don't need that because we can directly point this one to the node beneath. So that should be the AOA way because we don't need a dummy node at all. In this way, D happens after B, right? And C happens in parallel, so they both end up with this finishing node. But let's see what we need to do at the AON approach. Starting from also A to both B and C, we should observe a very similar starting structure. After that, however, we do need activity D to connect with B. And at this point, it appears it's not so clear where it needs to end. That's why we need to construct a dummy node, calling it a finishing point. So that in this case, both C and D points to the finishing node. Any question here? Yeah. So as you can observe, sometimes the AOA way needs to have some dash arrows to represent to point to the finishing node. At the same time, sometimes the AON diagram needs to create a dummy node to represent the finishing activity or finishing point. Yeah, any question there?
So in AOA, you have the dummy arrows. In AON, you have the dummy nodes. You don't have the arrows for that, right?
In case 4, we do not have dummy arrows or dummy node in the AOA way, but we do have a dummy node in the AON way.
I have a question for the AOA, because in the notes it says that you can have 2 events connected by 2 activities, but then that's what's happening in 3 and 4.
You mean you don't want to see like this?
Yeah.
Because this both C and D points to the same arrow,
Yeah.
to the same node. What's happening there is that what's forbidden is one same pair of node cannot be linked directly by more than one link. So as I demonstrated here, if this pair of node is connected by both activity A and B, it'll be wrong. But if they are connected through different ways, it's fine. So in this case, this node, let's call it node 1, 2, 3, 3, 4. node 2 and 4 is connected by activity C, that's fine. At the same time, it's connected by B, goes to a different node and back to it by D. This is also
It's
fine.
because, so it's okay because you get to the second half of 2 activities to get 4. So 2, 3, and 4 versus 2 and 4.
In this case, this pair of nodes 2 and 4, they have one direct link, right? So that's what
You can't
matters.
have 2 direct.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
That's what-
what matters. Okay.
You can't have
All right, please turn in your worksheet. We are going to check the other 3 cases next time.
But you can't be like, a, and then another one. Because like, there's actually one activity. the same. No, because before you're going. Stapler or anything like that, or is it?
Nope. Yeah, it's fine.
So get to before, like the node number 4, goes from 2.